One of the most incredible restricted Pokemon of all time in this format has got to be Zamazenta Crown. And today, I want to show off the perfect Zamazenta Rain team that should hopefully convince you guys that this mon really is the truth. If you guys want to see more content like this, of course, leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. And with that said, I do want to really quickly take the time to mention at least, this will probably be the last time, barring examples where we do actually have the builders, but we do actually have our very first members only team builder going up for this team in particular. So if you want to learn about the more intricate details such as defensive calcs that I went for, speed creeps, different cores, etc., make sure to check that out. It might not be up when you see this video because I can't schedule members videos because YouTube is stupid like that. So it will probably not be up until around 3 p.m. EST today. Somewhere between 3 to 5 I would anticipate, because I am recording this very late in the morning. It is currently 4:30 in the morning. So it will probably not be up until after, like again, around 3 p.m. So just check back on the channel if you think you missed it. It's probably just going to be up very soon. But with that said though, in terms of the team, today we are building around Zamazenta Crown, which is a pretty decent option. With Iron Fence and Body Press, you get off a ton of damage. There are very few Pokemon that want to take this combination. It shows Iron Head on here. For anyone who doesn't know, Iron Head on Zamazenta and Zacian space forms does turn into their Behemoth Bash and Behemoth Blade respectively. So it is Behemoth Bash, I promise. I didn't forget. I know someone will still comment anyway. I did not forget, I promise. This is a really good partner though. Essentially, the game plan with this is to go for really good physical mitigation with Pokemon like Incineroar with Intimidate. We also do have nice fake out pressure with the Rillaboom and Incineroar. And for the Zama Mirrors, we have Urshifu Rapid, which with the rain can do some decent damage. It's also great for things like the Terapagos matchup, which is pretty good. And with the Wide Guard and Pelipper instead of on Zamazenta, this actually does free up the space for Protect, which I found is really useful on Zamazenta to take advantage of our Rillaboom's grassy terrain here. And it proves to be a really setup 5 that's just like really potent in my opinion. River Raging Bolt is a 6-mon. This is mostly to match up Fish into Scarf Rapid Foo, which could take advantage of our own rain here without needing to necessarily tire my Zama. And it's also really good at snarling through the Calyrex Shadow Rider, especially if they're clicking single target Psychic or Expanding Force, as that gives me a better chance into just taking on that Zamazenta. Well, not Zamazenta, the Calyrex with my Zamazenta. Though it still honestly could have been a lot of different Pokemon. I highly considered several different things here, such as Landers, for example. Fluttermane could have been a decent mon. There's a lot that could fit. I just looked at AV Raging Bolt in particular here. If you want to try out the team yourself, though, the rental is on screen as well as the paste in the description below. And with that said, let's get into today's matches. All right, we're here today going over a Zamazenta Crown team. This should hopefully be pretty good. In case if you are looking though, as I mentioned in the beginning, we do actually have this live for a builder. It might not be right away, I will say, but it will be up no later than 5 p.m. because one, I can't for some reason schedule members videos, which is really weird. But more importantly, two, because I'll need to edit this when I wake up, which means that I will most likely be handling it at some point later on. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. And with that said, I feel pretty confident in going for some sort of... Honestly, I kind of do like the idea of going with like Pelipper and Urshifu, and then we go with Zama in the back line, as well as... I kind of like Raging Bolt or Rillaboom here. I'm going to go with Rillaboom just because at minimum, while Raging Bolt has a decent matchup, it is a little difficult to KO here, especially with the Assault Vest. I think that I have a little bit more faith in going for the... who's a what's it? I don't know why this is so difficult to talk. I have a little bit more faith in going for the terrain reset, because I think at minimum the terrain reset here will probably be decent. And I feel like it's a safer option if nothing else. My opponent's gonna lead off with Smeargle and Walking Wake. That's honestly fine. It's not the best lead for me, but it's definitely not a bad lead. Really, my greater concern is the fact that I've now enabled Walking Wake to be kind of a decent threat, and a Hydro Steam here is really free. I think I have to just go for the Surging Strikes and the Smeargle though, and then I have to go for a Tailwind. Smeargle can really only either go for Fake Out here or Spore, and either way, Urshifu being the target doesn't really mind too much. Because if they do Fake Out the Urshifu, right, then I still get up a Tailwind if nothing else, which helps a lot with that Shadow Rider matchup. Specifically if they're... Oh, they're going to go for Pelipper. Oh, okay, that's huge. Hold on, no, that's very huge. Oh my goodness. Okay, I really thought they were going to Fake Out Urshifu, but they now just, like, lost one of their best mons. So this is already, like, a great turn. So I will more than take that. In terms of the next turn, I think that we'll probably have to... I don't know. Like, I'm not too sure here. I think it really depends on what they go into here, because they have a lot of options. Like, I feel like Shadow Rider is a really free click for them. For example, that's Iron Hands for sure. Okay, so that is fine. I can't really do a lot about that, but I'll have to kind of figure out. Let me see. So I could Surging Strikes again. I think that my play is definitely gonna actually switch out here and go into the. I think it's going to Zama. Their play was Dragon Pulse last time. I think I go for a Tailwind this turn. The Tailwind will help a lot with just, again, getting the speed advantage specifically against the Shadow Rider. Especially if they're not a Sash set, that could be pretty huge. Now, I will say, I think there is a decent chance that they end up going for something like a Focus Sash Callie on a team like this. They're going to Dragon Pulse into my set. That's perfectly fine. I'm curious on what the Iron Hands is going to click. Are they going to click Wild Charge on my Pelipper? I feel like that's a pretty good click for them. They're going to go for Volt Switch. Okay, they're Volt Switching. That's fine. Pelipper can kind of go down here, and I'm not too concerned. We got the Tailwind up, which is going to be huge, and the Rain is also up for my Urshifu. They're also Volt Switching, because that means that the Iron Hands is just not going to be in the field. They're certainly bringing Calyrex here, which is honestly fine. I get a pretty free Body Press this turn with my Shadow Rider. No, they're going to DD, so they didn't bring... Okay, so they didn't bring Calyrex. Okay, that's very okay. Then in all honesty, I proceed to go into Rillaboom. I fake out the Indeedee immediately, and I go for a Iron Defense with my Zamazenta. The big reason for the Iron Defense here is because of the fact that by going for Iron Defense, it'll help me a lot with the Iron Hands matchup. Also, because the Indeedee is objectively getting flinched here. There's no world where it isn't. And even if the Zamazenta... Well, actually, so specifically first, I'm going to go for the Terra Dragon. Because they're not clicking Dragon Move this turn into my Calyrex. Well, into my Zama. So I'm going to fake out, and then on the next turn, I'm going to proceed to go for a Body Press into Indeedee and a Wood Hammer into that Walking Wake, as I am most likely anticipating that Walking Wake goes for a Protect here, and Indeedee tries to set up Trick Room, because that'll help them regain the field advantage here, especially for setting up for Iron Hands, because that is looking to be their win con. So by doing this, it should give me the most opportunity to ensure that we can stop any sort of Iron Hands win condition for them, because in Trick Room, Iron Hands could be a decent bet. Even if we do manage to just kill the Walking Wake here so it doesn't get a Dragon Move off into my Zama though, that's already pretty big, and I do have Protect thankfully to help. They're gonna go for, ooh, Helping Hand. Okay, that's not the best, but it could be worse. It could definitely be worse. Either way, I mean, we get a decent Fake Out off here. They're still going for a Water or Fire move for certain. I cannot see a world where they're going for anything else. And that Body Press is gonna hurt Walking Wake in a turn. They're gonna, yep, Hydro Steam. Okay, perfect. So Hydro Steam is fine, honestly. I'm not really too concerned with the Hydro Steam here. I'm going to Body Press the Indeedee just because, one, I doubt they go for Terra on Indeedee. But more importantly, two, they would have to go for specifically Terra plus Follow Me. Meanwhile, the Wood Hammer into the Walking Wake here should hit like a truck. If they really do go for Follow Me, that should be fine too, to a degree. It's not as favorable, but to be fair, without Trick Room up, I'm still fine killing that Iron Hands. It'll just take a little bit more effort. They're going to go for Follow Me. Okay, that's fine. At minimum, even if we do lose the Zama here, I'm not too concerned. It does look like, oh my goodness, that just barely took it. Okay, well, Zama still should choose. This is still great. And then at the bare minimum, at least Rillaboom isn't going to take a ton in recoil, so that's pretty decent. I think that my play, because of how this turn has went though, is going to be, let's see, how many turns of Tailwind do we have left? I feel pretty confident. So if Tailwind runs out this turn, my play is going to be to Body Press and Wood Hammer into the Walking Wake. Okay, yep. So Tailwind does not look like it ran out this turn. We have one more turn of Tailwind. Yep. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so I'm going to go for Body Press here into the Walking Wake, and then I'm going to go for a Wood Hammer into the Walking Wake. And at minimum, one of those will pop. They're going to fake out probably the Zama here, which I'm okay with that. At minimum, though, I just need the Walking Wake to be dead. And the Walking Wake is really like the one thing that could win them the game, because the Dragon Pulse and Hydro Steam combination is pretty terrifying. Especially because I don't really have a Dragon Resist anymore, as I did go for the Terra to avoid the Hydro Steam. Especially with the Rain Boost, that could have been very lethal, so I'll take that. Dragon Pulse is going to go off here. Okay, they're going for the Rillaboom, though. That's kind of crazy, but I kind of am glad, because if they went for it into the Zama, that could have been scary. It isn't something that would have lost me the game, because I would have still gotten this Wood Hammer off, and then I could have Wood Hammer plus Surging Strikes into the Iron Hands, and that would have been decent. Maybe some weird 50-50s depending on their Terra type, but that's about it. Thankfully, though, they went for the Rillaboom, which is huge, because now, actually, I get off a very free Iron Defense here. If the Iron Hands goes for, like, a Terra Ghost or something, then there wasn't much I could have done anyway around this, and it's a good scout. But it looks like they're not going to Terra, and the Body Press plus Wood Hammer combination should be enough to pick this off. I'll definitely take it. I'm kind of shocked they didn't go with their Restricted. I So I both understand and I don't. I think, to be fair, their team had a lot of good counterplay for my two wide guard users, being the Zama and my Pelipper. And while only Pelipper had wide guard, conceptually both could have had it. Also, Zama could have Snarl too, to be fair, and like Retrieve Rapid's probably Scarf. So I get why they didn't bring it, but like at the same time, their team really kind of needs Calyrex to function anyway, even without having Calyrex's best matchup in mind. It's just that good of a mon, but it is what it is. I'll take it. Game number 1 is ours. Let's see you guys in game number 2, though. All right, game number 2, we're basically taking on a mirror, but we have Zama, so we will have the advantage here. I feel pretty confident in just going with Incin and Zama on lead, and then backlining my Pelipper, and probably, I feel pretty confident in going with Rillaboom, actually. I think Rillaboom, if nothing else, just having the second fake out user could be decent. Sorry, I took a bit long. I'm currently working on slides that I'm sending off to Kurt here. So it took a little bit long with that. And ended up, unfortunately, just getting distracted. Okay, so perfect. That is finally okay. Okay, sweet. So we should be ready for the next one. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna see a Zacian and a Rillaboom lead. That's honestly okay. Really not too concerned with this. Because Zacian Rillaboom does have a few things that it isn't gonna be best for, specifically when it comes to this particular lead. For one, obviously my Incin just getting off Intimidate into the Zacian already is pretty huge. What I can probably actually do, so my Incineroar is definitely gonna be slower than their Rillaboom. I think my play is always going to be to go for a Protect here on my Zamazenta, and then to go for a Wisp into their Zacian. If they go for Substitute, that's fine. It means they probably don't have either Protect or Sword Stance, depending on the moveset, which is really good information as it is. If they're Terra Fire, that's fine. It's also really good information, and forcing that Terra is going to be huge. And if they're going to go for Protect here, then that's fine. They're Terraing, so it doesn't look like they're going for Protect. They're going to go for Terra Water. So this is perfect, actually, because if they went for whether it was Water, Fire, even like a Dragon, for example, though, then I wasn't really going to get good damage off of Flare Blitz anyway. And while Parting Shot isn't terrible, I think that in general, just going for that Wisp is going to objectively be the better option. They're going to go for Sword Stance here. That's perfectly fine. They didn't go for any sort of, Fake Out. That's the move. Oh my god, I don't know how I forgot Fake Out. So this Wisp does go off completely, like, just as is, which is huge. Their Zacian is now burned, which is really beneficial for us, actually. Because this is essentially just a neutral Zacian again, and I can Parting Shot through this pretty quickly. I'm going to proceed to go for an Iron Defense this turn, just for the one, if nothing else, it's still decent damage. I know that Zacian probably has Sacred Sword, which is kind of okay, but at minimum, again, if I'm going to go for a Parting Shot here, this is dropping offense even faster. I can then proceed to have my Rillaboom in, which has an advantageous priority move against this. And while I do have Grassy Terrain to recover back the burn, so it will be minimal damage from the burn chip, it's still going to be decent overall because my Body Press plus Grassy Glide priority will be huge into that Zacian. And what I will most likely do is I'm probably just going to go for some sort of Wood Hammer plus Body Press play, specifically with the Body Press going into their Rillaboom and then the Wood Hammer going to go into the Zacian. Because Zacian will definitely not kill either of my Pokemon. I am extremely confident in that. This is essentially like a 0.5 boost to, like essentially like half a stage, I think, or it's like 3/4 of a stage boost to its offense, which isn't great. I mean, even like +1 would only bring Zacian to around, I want to say like 300 attack. So this isn't even that high, which is really weak when you consider like Paradox Mon damage. I know that like that's still a threatening Pokemon, especially if you were to go back even just a couple generations. But it's really not the strongest when it's burned in +1, I guess. So this should be a pretty easy Mon to muscle. Oh, I guess it's, to be fair, it's +3, I think. Either way, it's really not that threatening. I'm really not too scared of the Zacian. They're gonna switch out here, which is huge. This Body Press is going to hurt Raging Bolt. Oh yeah, Raging Bolt. Oh, that's huge. They're gonna play off my Zacian, my Zama. So that means they probably don't have Sacred Sword then. I can't imagine they would have clicked Sacred Sword if they had it. This Wood Hammer is gonna massacre that Zacian. So they've now lost their best win con in my team, which they also didn't even click their best move for it, which is huge. My Zama is about to go like apeshit into their team because they have no good check anymore. Their best method, I guess, would be probably your Shifu Rapid. But if Shifu Rapid does come in, I immediately go for Terra, and then I go for the combination of Body Press plus Grassy Glide, and I kill any Shifu on spot. So that's really huge, and if Rillaboom comes in, I'm okay with that. They're gonna go for Pelipper, okay. For Pelipper, I don't really have to Terra. I don't have to Terra for Pelipper. Actually, no, never mind. I actually should Terra for Pelipper, Specifically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the combination of body press into this, and I'm going to go for a taunt into Pelipper, mostly just to stop their Rillaboom and Raging Bolt from getting good speed. Because especially if I am going to go for Terra, I really should avoid Raging Bolt getting a speed advantage on me next turn. So by going for the taunt here, it's just a nice safe play. I'm probably trading my Rillaboom doing this, but considering their last Mon is Rillaboom in the back, with the Pelipper and Raging Bolt backline, or frontline I should say, I don't really need my Rillaboom anymore. It served its purpose. Their Pelipper is left here with a Rillaboom. Meanwhile, I still have an Incineroar in the back, which is a lot, and on top of that as well, I forgot what my last Mon is, but either way, I'm not too concerned. And that is a fast Pelipper as well, which is good to know. It is at least faster than my Rillaboom. I'm not going to act like I'm too surprised by that. I know a lot of Pelipper are just running max speed modest, just because they don't really need the bulk. And especially on the Sash Pelipper, it's a very safe thing to do because you outpace a lot of these lower end speed mons that are in creep wars with each other that aren't really going to bother creeping Pelipper. Even though it's a worthwhile creep, they're not doing it, self-included. It's just not worth it because the bulk is that good. Either way though, can I click Protect finally? I still can't click Protect. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, not the biggest concern here. I just go for Body Press, and then I go for a Wood Hammer into the Pelipper. If Pelipper goes for like a Hurricane, that's fine. If Rillaboom goes for like a Fake Out here, that's also fine. I don't really hurt a lot from this, so it is what it is. We're gonna get Fake Outed. That's not a huge concern. We're gonna probably get Hurricane to that same spot, but it's not gonna do real damage. No, they're gonna go for Rillaboom. That shouldn't kill. No, it does kill. Okay. I'm curious how offensive the Pelipper is. It's probably just modest, honestly, which is okay. You know what? I just realized I don't even think this is the AV Rillaboom, which is still fine. I mean, it doesn't make a difference for the team, to be fair, but are we AV? No, we're definitely not AV. Okay, that's why. Yeah, I'm too used to the AV Rillaboom calcs, which is why I was thinking, oh yeah, no, we definitely kill. No, we absolutely do not kill. Okay, well, this is still okay. I'm gonna go for the Body Press into the Rillaboom here. We're already +3, so we're gonna get off a ton of damage. And then if I fake out the Pelipper, they could still Terra for sure, and if they Terra, that's fair play. But if they're gonna go for a Terra here, I'm not too concerned because it just helps my backline with Urshifu become immensely powerful. They do not seem to Terra, that's perfectly fine. My Zama being confused is a little annoying here, but can we just get off a Body Press? Perfect, Body Press lands. Okay, sweet. That should do like half. Yep, okay, that actually does way more than half. That nearly kills. Oh, they're Covert Cloak. Oh, that's interesting. I super fuck with that, actually. That's a decent item on Pelipper. But this is still not a huge deal, actually. This is a very much not big deal. What I can proceed to do with this Rain up, I could probably honestly just go for a Scarf Aqua Jet. Scarf Aqua Jet, I am confident will kill their Rillaboom at this point. Oh, no, never mind, I have Pelipper. For some reason, I was thinking Urshifu. I mean, this is still fine, honestly. With Pelipper here, I can just go for Hurricane into their Pelipper, and I can go for a Body Press into their Rillaboom, and that should be pretty okay. Actually, technically, my play is always to... No, never mind, yeah, Hurricane. I would say, technically, my play is to go for Weather Ball because it gets Rain boosted, but no, my play is actually to always go for Hurricane because it's not resisted, and that's the way to look at this. Either way, though, this is definitely a very dead Rillaboom here, which is great. Thankfully, we hit through our confusion. And now the Pelipper has to kind of choose between hitting my Pelipper through its Sash or hitting my Zacian and... Oh, not my Zacian. I keep saying Zacian. My Zamazenta. My Pelipper actually outpaces theirs anyway, so we're going to get a nice 2-0 win for our second win of the day. Hopefully I can be a little bit more on point, I guess, with what my commentary is. I don't know why I kept calling this Mon Zacian. I think it's because it was the mirror. Like, this was basically a mirror besides the fact they had the other legend, which, to be fair, is basically how you run the Zacian Rain. It's just Zama Rain, but with Zacian. But it's still just really funny to think about. Either way, though, we're going to see you guys in our next game. Peace out, guys. All right, for game number 3, we're taking on an Ice Rider team, which is amazing. This is the type of team that made something like Pelipper, for example, pop up into relevance in the first place, because what does this team do to Pelipper? I hardwall out Calyrex, unless that's close combat, I guess. Torkoal gets completely walled. Amoonguss can Spore, to be fair, and that's the best this team gets into it. Mienshao, I guess, can Fake Out. Frigg gets walled unless it has a single target move, which Shadow Ball is a decent one, or Psychic as well has popped up for Pelipper. And then Wellpon is like their best means around it, but it still has to fear Hurricane. In terms of my lead here, I should very confidently backline Pelipper. That is always the backline here. My play is actually always going to be to go for probably, I feel like I feel like Incineroar and Zama is a pretty decent lead. If nothing else, Incineroar is decent for, like, Ogerpon. Well, actually, Ogerpon is not coming. Ogerpon is, frankly, getting benched into this team. They're definitely leading off with, like, Frigg, probably Frigg, Cali, and then Torkoal Amoonguss is their play. I don't think that this is a Mienshao game, though it's not terrible here. With that in mind, I think I need to actually go with the Rillaboom and Zama. Then I bring Pelipper and Urshifu as my backline. Shifu does a ton to his team. They only have one check to it. And realistically, the Rillaboom should help open up the Ogerpon a lot. Ogerpon is arguably the scariest threat to my team, despite the fact that it is very passive to my team. Just to follow me redirecting away my moves is probably the scariest thing that could happen here. I still don't think it comes, but like if it does come, like that is in theory pretty scary. They're gonna go with Cali and Mienshao. Really? Okay, I'm kind of shocked Mienshao. I'm very fine with that. They get a pretty free fake out turn for what it's worth. I am going to proceed to go for the Iron Defense here plus the Taunt. I think Taunt into that Calyrex is going to be my best means of just doing anything, really. And meanwhile, I'm not really too concerned with the Mienshao, even if it does go for like a close combat here and predicts. I think that the Iron Defense is frankly way more important. So I'm going to go for this Taunt. Even if I lose Rillaboom in the process, I'm kind of okay with it. Even if they fake out one of my Mons in the process, I'm okay with it. There's not really a play that could be made here that I would actually be concerned with. And I think that going for the Taunt into that Calyrex is always my best option. They are going to go for a defensive Terra here. I'm very curious into what Pokemon. I feel like either... Okay, yeah, it's going to be Cali. That's fine. Cali's going to go for Terra Fire. Okay, so Terra Fire is interesting. That is definitely fairly interesting. I'm curious if they were anticipating some sort of Grass Stab coming in, like a Wood Hammer. But I'm okay with that. If they went for Terra Fire... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, if they went for Terra Fire, I was confident they were not going to be going for the Rillaboom with Fake Out, which would have been great. I'm still okay with this. This is really not a huge concern. I can proceed to honestly just let my Rillaboom die and go for like a Grassy Glide plus a Body Press into the Mienshao and just take out the Mienshao. I think that's a really big threat to get rid of. Even if they switch that spot into, let's say, Ferrigraph, for example, though, I still at minimum get a Body Press off, which is huge. And the Ice Rider isn't going to do enough damage. I just kind of want this Pokemon gone because Mienshao, in theory, just being like a nice Feint user for the Wide Guard spam could actually be a pretty terrifying thing for us. So I would much rather just get rid of it. And also, it's a decent check to Zama. It's not a perfect check to Zama, but it is a decent one for sure. So that Mienshao is going to be gone, thankfully. I can now protect and get this thing pretty healthy. That Cali is not going to do a lot of damage, meanwhile. Especially not when I get Pelipper in. At that point, it is doing practically nothing. For now, though, we do need to be a bit careful because most likely Torkoal is going to come in. And I do kind of need to not hard switch it out. I actually probably need to go for Protect, like, immediately. Amoonguss comes in, actually. Okay, Amoonguss is kind of interesting. Okay, with Amoonguss specifically coming in, I think I actually go for Protect here. And then I think I pop Terra Fire and go for Taunt. I think getting off that Taunt, I was going to save the Terra for Zama, but if they're going hard on Amoonguss, I think that this is actually my better play. Because I know for a fact I can confidently take on any hit from Cali, because it's not going to high horsepower me. If Cali really reads this in high horsepowers, my opponent deserves to win. There's no world where that happens, though. They're going to high horsepower probably into my Zama, if not Glacial Lance. But because it has no boost, I'm really not concerned with taking that hit. Amoonguss should have to have, like, foul play, which if it does, fair play. My opponent, again, deserves the win. But I don't think it's the case. I really don't think it's the case. They're probably going to Spore into my Zama. Yep, Spore right into Zama. And I can now taunt this. This is a fair trade. I am willing to give up Terra just for this interaction right here. They're going to Lance. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Because Lance now doesn't do anything to either of my Pokemon, which is pretty huge. Meanwhile, at this point, they disconnected. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I need to just make sure that is a win for us, because otherwise that is very unfortunate. Because at this point, again, I'm pretty confident they disconnected, which is huge. My Zama and Rillaboom just kind of farm their team at this point. Oh, they're Mental Herb. Oh, that's kind of crazy. I can't lie, that is insane. What a click to make there. I'm still confident they forfeited though, because they realized they cannot do anything to my team. There's no world where I believe that that was my disconnect. If it was, I'm irate. I'm very irate if that was my disconnect. Please tell me that is my win. Please tell me that is my win. I'm not making the cut till I verify that was my win, because I've had too many times where I've been in winning positions, and for some reason the game disconnects me and gives me a loss, and I don't know why. Come on, come on, come on. Hard points. Okay, thank fuck. Solid. We gotta win. This team now has ribbons. I'll probably have to re-upload it with the ribbons. We're gonna get one more game in though, because so far this has been a pretty short vid. We've steamrolled through our games, 3-0 so far for the day, which is incredible. So yeah, we'll get in one more match. All right, for our final game of the day, barring any sort of preemptive forfeit, I guess, in the next like 5 minutes, we're taking on what looks to be another Trick Room team, though this one is a lot more situational. To be fair, the only Trick Room set that they have is the Cali. Now, I will say that the Hisuian Zoroark actually does make this kind of a problematic matchup. That's not to say that Hisuian Zoroark is good, but when I need to taunt as my counterplay, that suddenly becomes a very difficult thing to manage. They're probably going to lead off with... I don't know. For what it's worth, actually, if Cali leads, I can always just go for the taunt into that spot, and I think it's kind of okay. With that in mind, I'm gonna go for actually an instant Rillaboom lead. I think it gets me the most mileage out of this turn. My game plan should always be to specifically go for the combination of Fake Out and Wisp into Cali. If they proceed to go for Terra Fire immediately, that's fine. At minimum, Pelipper can muscle that, and then I go with the Zama. Unfortunately, Raging Bolt didn't really get a great showing today. For what it's worth, Raging Bolt has always been kind of a situational mon. It has certain matchups it's decent into. Like, I found it's really good into Ogre, but we didn't fight Ogre today. It's also really good into a lot of the Shadow Rider teams because I could snarl through them. Again, we didn't fight Shadow Rider today, and the one that we did, I had a better composition of 4-4, but it was borderline a 5th. So like, I don't know, we just didn't really fight the matchups for it, but it is what it is. They're gonna go with Ice Rider Iron Hands. Okay, perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns, Wisp and Taunt immediately, because at minimum, one of those does work. Are they Clear Amulet or are they not Clear Amulet? I'm gonna guess they're Clear Amulet, but if they're not, this is good information. At minimum, we're weakening the Iron Hands, which is still really good. Weakening the Iron Hands is a big deal. So that is Clear Amuleted, and yep, the Cali is Clear Amulet. Okay, perfectly fine. So then yeah, I can just go for the... honestly, wait, I can Fake Out into their Iron Hands. And I can... No, actually, wait, what am I talking about? I go for Fake Out into the... Calyrex. And then I go for the Taunt. Because Fake Outing and Taunting is always my play. If they go for Protect, that's fine. It's really not a big deal. The Iron Hands doesn't do shit. And frankly, this is the worst way they can take advantage of the turn. Barring some move to kill with the Suizorg, which I don't think happens on my Rillaboom. I guess they could Taunt if they have Taunt, to be fair. That would be kind of scary. But barring a Taunt, and it doesn't look like they're taunting. They are slower than my team. Which is good to know. So that is perfectly fine. They're going to Drain Punch my instant. That's negligible damage. I could really do Wisp here. I think I'm actually going to go for that Wisp, though, into the Iron Hands, as weird as that sounds. And then I'm going to proceed to taunt the Ice Rider, which I'm confident is still going to try and pursue Trick Room as they seek a kill, especially if they go for something like a Terra here. I'm fine either way. We're still going to burn the Valiant, which is still pretty decent. Even if they Lance this turn, I'm really not concerned. I just need this thing to not get Trick Room up, because that is how I keep my advantage in the field. Their Valiant is a little scary, I won't lie, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And there's a lot scarier things they could be doing here. And at minimum, the Valiant has Chip consistently going in on it, which is decent. They're gonna go for Lance. Okay, Lance is fine. Instant should definitely take it. Rillaboom probably dies, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I am gonna proceed to go into my Pelipper here. I think Pelipper is a really good bring, and then I just go for Wisp into that Calyrex, which is decent. I could also, in theory, go for Flare Blitz into that Calyrex. I think that the Wisp is a little safer, because at minimum that still pressures it for the Zama spot, which is huge. And at this point, I kind of just need to get my opponent's team. Actually, they're gonna probably. So I'm curious if they faint on Valiant. What I'm actually gonna do here, because I have the Sash, I'm gonna go for a Wisp here into that Calyrex first off, because I will outpace. And then I'm actually going to go for a Hurricane into Valiant, because that could potentially go for Faint here, and I don't want to break my Wide Guard and go completely unpunished by my Wide Guard here. By killing that Valiant, though, it takes away any pressure that I might otherwise have to have. This helps a lot with just, like, scouting around Terra, too, so I'm really not too concerned. There's a good chance the Valiant just goes for Gleam, though, and I'm kind of okay with that, too. They're going to go for Terra Water here as well, which is decent for us. They were probably trying to take, like, a Flare Blitz, or even, like, a Weather Ball would have been a decent thing to wall with this. So again, perfectly fine. They're gonna go for... Oh, wait, what? What the fuck were they clicking with Valiant then? Because, like, my Pelipper... That had to have been, like, a minus priority move, like Trick Room. Was that really going for Trick Room here? Oh my god, I kind of bailed myself. So, I think realistically this play was always a gamble, objectively. Because Valiant could have viably clicked a move like Feint, Moonblast, Wide Guard, etc. and broken my Sash, and then I lost to Lance. But that's huge. That's a huge fucking turn for us. My goodness. This is fine. This is actually very fine. Hold on. The Iron Hands is going to be a little bit of a problem, but it is burned, so I'm not as concerned. And I could still kind of sponge hits from that Ice Rider for what it's worth, so I'm okay with that. The Calyrex is also taunted for at least another turn, which is huge. My play is actually just go for Weather Ball and for Iron Defense this turn. Iron Hands can get a pretty free Fake Out off, and that is perfectly valid. I think, though, that I need to go for the Iron Defense and the Hurricane. I can also Weather Ball their Iron Hands, but they're probably going to be some sort of AV set, and I don't really want to take that. I'd rather just Body Press up and then sponge the hits better. And if they're going to take a turn to Fake Out plus Horsepower, that's fine. It's going to be pretty piss weak. Also, this turn will give us a bit of a time to see like what they're pursuing. Maybe they're going to pursue Lance or not Lance. They're going for Fake Out. I'm curious if they're going to go for Lance. Either way here, my Zama's in a great position to kind of just win the game. I body press into their Cali next turn, and that's pretty safe. And then I'll go for Hurricane just in case. They're going to Lance, that's fine. Pelipper should still take this because of the burn. Yep, just barely we take it. Okay, sweet. Did Taunt end? Because the Taunt ended, I'm actually just going to go straight for that Iron Hands and just kill it with Weather Ball plus Assault Vest. Well, plus Body Press. Shook off the Taunt, okay. Because I'm confident that they're going to pursue a Protect here, and then they're going to kill off my Pelipper. Which is fine, I'm not really too concerned with that. If they Lance, then I'm just going to go... Well, if they go for Lance, that's not a huge deal. I get bigger Protector. Okay. Yeah, I figured they were either going to go for Protector Trick Room here, and then I get a free Wide Guard in the next turn. Iron Hand's though is such a threat, I did kind of want to kill it, and this Weather Ball should be enough to pick it off. I'm confident the Rain Boosted Weather Ball with modest Pelipper will pick it at this range. Perfect. Okay, that is huge. That's really huge. This next turn, I'm going to proceed to go for... let's see, so I think they're out of their Fake Out Mons at this point. So I'm pretty confident I can just go for the Body Press into that Calyrex and just get off some really serious damage, plus a Wide Guard here. I can potentially go for Hurricane as well, depending on what they bring in. Minimum though, the Iron Hands is gone, and the Valiant is gone. They're going to bring in Ursa Luna. Okay, Ursa Luna is kind of crazy, but I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy. They're going to definitely go for Protect on Luna, though. I'm going to go for Terra Dragon here, and I'm going to go for a Hurricane here. Actually, I'm going to go for a Wide Guard here. Because the Blood Moon, unless they're burning the literal Blood Moon move, is not going to touch me, and Calyrex cannot touch me either. So I think it's a better play. They might burn the literal Blood Moon move here just to take that. I think they're actually going to probably click Earth Power into my Zama, though. And Earth Power plus Trick Room here, or maybe even go for like a Protect plus Trick Room, is a decent play. And I kind of want to just make sure I'm taking these hits. That is the scary thing about Cali, though, is the fact that it can just deal so much damage with very low risk. But this is going to be my best line. Perfect. They're going to go for Protect. Okay, that's fine. They do get a free Blood Moon into me, though, if they do take this hit. And that's kind of scary, but I think that my play at that point would just be to play around the Blood Moon Ursa Luna in particular and try and scout it. We do about half to Cali, which is decent. They are going to get a Trick Room up, unfortunately, though, but it is what it is. I need to be a bit careful with this sequence because I now need to stall through specifically the Blood Moon Ursa Luna attack, which is not great. My play is probably to go for the Body Press into the Ursa, and then go for a... Actually, hold on. No. It's actually always to go for the Calyrex here, and then to go for the Weather Ball into Ursa. Because there is a real chance they probably just dual target my Zama this turn, and then try and bully my Pelipper later. Because Pelipper can't really cover both. They're going to go for Lance. Okay, fuck. Definitely not ideal. I should have just went for Wide Guard. It is what it is. I still stand by the fact that I think they realistically had the potential to still go for Horsepower plus Blood Moon. They do go for Blood Moon. Okay, fuck. They go for Lance plus Blood Moon. We take that still, actually, which is huge. And they're Life Orb. So I just need to... I need to get off enough Protects at this point, which isn't going to be great. It's manageable, technically, but it's not great. It's not great by any means. So we'll just need to be a bit careful here. I think I need 3 in a row, because that's the second turn of Trick Room being up. I think there's, what, 3 turns? 3 turns, yeah, okay. So I need a Triple Protect here. Triple Protect wins me the game, but, I mean, it would be a funny way to end the video, for sure. But I don't think it'll happen. I think realistically my opponent won. They made a good play. If I went for Wide Guard there, I was set. Wide Guard would have ensured that I would have taken that Cali hit. And then also the Blood Moon, well, it would have done decent damage. It wouldn't have killed my whole team because I could just Wide Guard plus, well, no, I'm probably going to Wide Guard. Either way, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, we're going to lose. Unfortunate. Still 3-1 though. 3-1 is still decent. And again, I think it just came down to a bad call at the end, but the team is still kicking ass. If you want to try it yourselves, remember that we do have the members video going up later today. It is probably, as I said, it's going to go up definitely before 5, probably around 3 p.m. EST, so about 6 hours after this video goes live. So if you're watching this and you are a channel member, make sure to check that out. It should be a pretty good builder, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of these. This will be the first one that I am doing. If you guys do enjoy, though, and you want to see more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe for more. I'm going to be uploading daily Reg G content on this channel, so it should be a lot of fun. And you can also get some notifications when we do things like go live for streams, etc., etc. And again, consider becoming a member. Our current members are Zeke, Mia, Rao Sakura, Obo, Endless Gadgets, Incog M, Randy Chappa, and our bigger fan, Josh K. Ultra Player. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. It means the world. And with that said, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, peace out, guys.